Hey YouTube, I'm Steven, and guess what? I just finished my first week of college and I'm really enjoying it. I'm in the radio broadcasting program, so I got a lot of very interesting courses, and overall I'm just feeling the college vibe. I really like it. I've been having to work pretty much every day after school, so I don't really have any free time anymore, but it's just something I'm gonna have to get used to. Speaking of which, I might be making some changes to my channel due to school and work, so if you want to get more details on that, just click the annotation right there. For the past week, you guys have been sending me your questions, so as promised today we're going to do a little Q&A session, so sit back, relax, and try not to think too hard about what really goes on in my viewers' minds. The first question comes from Kevin, and he wants to know what my least favorite thing about college is. I would have to say the Tim Hortons. Now don't get me wrong, because I'm Canadian, Tim Hortons is pretty much my second home. I guess third home if you count my igloo. But honestly, if you don't get to the campus Tim Hortons before 8 a.m., you're going to be waiting in line for at least 15 minutes. Amber asked me, if you had a superpower for one day, what would it be and what would you use it for? If I could only have a superpower for 24 hours, it would have to be teleportation or flight, because I really want to travel and explore the world, and that's a really expensive dream. Jeremiah wants to know, what was my most interesting experience with a healthcare provider? My most interesting experience, I guess, I'd have to say about 3 or 4 years ago when I got my first ever physical exam done, because at the time I didn't even know what I was there for or what a physical was. So when the doctor strolled in and casually asked me to drop my trousers, I was a bit surprised to say the least. The next question comes from Ian, and Ian wanted to know, how do they get the bubbles in Aero chocolate bars? Well Ian, since I am in fact the sole creator of Aero chocolate bars, let me fill you in on every detail. David wanted to know, why does this generation have so many hoes? To be honest David, I think the root of the problem starts with men these days not respecting women the way that they should. For example, you referred to them as hoes. Bitches hate being called hoes. Etienne, also known as Steven en français, wanted to know the name of my first band and the type of music we played. I guess I joined my first real band in grade 9, and we decided to call ourselves something in French. That's it. Just those 3 words. And we played a lot of From First to Last covers, some Taking Back Sunday covers, and some Silverstein covers. So yeah, we were an emo cover band. Jean-Vieve asked me, what is your favorite EV evolution and why? For those of you wondering what an EV is, stop living under a rock and go have a childhood. Although Umbreon is pretty badass, I'd have to go with either Jolteon or Flareon, because like many people my age, I think that the first 151 Pokemon were by far the best. And I guess shooting lightning and fire at stuff is pretty cool too. Ryan wanted to know, what is your worst or favorite memory? This is a really hard question, but actually my best and worst memories go hand in hand. My last year of high school was full of shitty feelings and bad memories, but it was also the first year I listened to Dead and Divine's album, The Machines We Are. It was getting to the point where I didn't feel like being around anymore, but there was something about the drums and guitars and vocals on that album that just made me feel better than anyone or anything had ever made me feel before. It was kind of like I was feeling both extremes at the same time. There was a lot of sadness and emptiness, but at the same time there was all this hope and reassurance that things were going to turn around really soon. Jessica asked me, how is your life different from the way it was 5 years ago, and did you expect to be where you are today? I guess 5 years ago I was just starting grade 10, and at that time all I really cared about was the girl I was dating, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and hanging out with my friends. Now I have a ton of responsibilities, I've got work, I've got school, and not nearly enough hours in the day to do everything I want to do. I never thought I'd have a vlog channel or be in college for radio broadcasting. To be honest, I kinda thought my band would be noticed and I'd be touring the country rather than being in school. The next question comes from Warren, and he asked me, what defines a bro? Now I've got a whole video about this, but if I had to sum it up in just a couple of words, I'd say a bro is someone who's willing to do anything in their power to help out a friend in need, and someone who's not afraid to let their friends know if they're about to do something stupid or something that could hurt somebody. Last but not least, the question everyone's been dying to hear the answer to. Megan asked me, do you like mudkips? And the answer is no. I in fact love mudkips, and if you have a problem with that, then you can just take your mudkipophobia and unsubscribe right now. That's it for my first ever Q&A video. Thanks everyone so much for sending me your questions. I apologize if I didn't get to yours, but I will definitely be doing another Q&A video in the weeks to come. If there's something you want to ask me, just send me a message on Facebook, Twitter, right here on YouTube, or email StevensSaysShit@gmail.com. If you missed last week's video and hate the phrase YOLO, make sure you click the annotation right there. And if you live in or around my city, my buddy's band Roadside Bandit is going to be playing this weekend, so I'm going to put their YouTube link and their Facebook link in the info section below. So if you're into rock and roll music, go check that out. I'm Steven. Thanks for listening to the Shit I Have to Say. Bye!